So Eric Swalwell, gosh, after I made that video yesterday, giving him until 1700 close of business to something needed to be done to get him out of Congress. And shortly thereafter, he posted a statement about leaving Congress, blah, 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 say sorry to my wife and my decisions, blah, 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 fucking blah. We don't care. We don't even issue an apology. We don't care. It's not a lapse in judgment, bro. You're a rapist. Okay. More than 50 women are coming out saying you either raped them or sexually assaulted them. Bruh, don't even talk no more. Gone and put your ugly face in your crib until your wife throws your monkey ass out, and just stop talking. We don't want to hear from you no more. Okay? You are supposed to be a member of Congress. As I said yesterday, Eric Swalwell persecuted President Trump, called him out, tried to call him to the mat on Epstein files. Wow, which is really bizarre. That curse is real. Don't believe me? Look at all these individuals who are falling like dominoes. Anyway, Eric Swalwell, who also was at the forefront persecuting Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh over the Christine Blasey Ford bullshit that was complete and total fabrication. Remember that? He did that too. Remember, he was also blah-blahing about the Russia hoax that turned out to be complete. Robert Mueller, who hated the president, found absolutely no collusion with Trump and Russia. You know, it's like these people, all they do is just walk away. Once they are proven to be complete psychotic, they just turn around and walk away and go to the next lie. So you got, okay, look, Eric Swalwell is not the only one. He's not. There are so many members of Congress who are found to do absolute ratchet shit. A lot of it has, Eric Swalwell is a rapist. You got Tony Gallegos, another damn rapist. You got Ruben Gallego, who's another damn, look, screwing around on his wife when she pregnant and just talking a bunch of shit about Trump all the time. I guess that's the only prerequisite for a Democrat, talk shit about Trump. And that's all Eric Swalwell did. They put that dude was running to be governor of the state of California, and he is nothing but a freaking rapist. Dude, these members of Congress, you're either a freaking rapist, and remember, recently,
hey, Colin.
I think it was Nancy Mace who put the bill on the floor.
This is about England again. The rapist thing going there. I'm going to be playing that later in the show when more people get on, Colin.
To expose those who were on the list. That list. Let's see that list. The list of those who have paid out to staffers and others because they could not seem to keep their sexual parts to themselves. And it's a secret list, and it's been going on for years, and taxpayer funded, by the way. We've been paying for their monkey ass to do booty calls that somebody didn't pick up the other line. So here we are with all of these individuals, you either stealing money and putting it into your pocket, Ilhan Omar, AOC. How many scandals have to happen with these people leering about you people stealing more of our money and living in the lap of luxury while American citizens continue to suffer to pay your freaking bills? It really is absolutely unacceptable. People have had it. I don't know if y'all will recall the history, but there was a certain cup that got turned upside down over tea. Look that up. Sheila Sherfless, I had to write this down because her name, whatever. Sheila Sherfless McCormick. This boule ass bitch, this porch Negro walking around with a Democrat D behind her name, stole $5 million and finally got arrested, but the bitch won't resign from Congress. What? You stole $5 million from taxpayers. You walking around with your diamond ring, just blanging, popping tags, and you still won't resign. You still want to keep that congressional. Cut her damn money off. Cut her money off. Just stop her from getting money. Stop her from using taxpayer money to fund her family and have health care and all of the amenities of that the members of Congress get. All of you, hold on. Rashida Tlaib, all of you, Sri Tandahar, another fucking ungrateful foreigner like Ilhan Omar, fake wineries, fake autism centers, fake leering centers, fake feeding your future. This bitch stole $30 million and she's still in Congress mocking people who, like Liz Churchill, who ask her questions, mocking her. Oh God, we cannot. This is how Rome fell. We are Rome right now. And the fires are on the hill. Rome is burning. And these members of Congress refuse to give up their seat. Eric Swalwell, they got rid of his ass because they needed him to get out of the way of the jungle primary that they created in California. He was just hogging up votes, and there were going to be 2 Republicans that were going to take the top spots. This is the way they did it, and then it comes back to bite them. So, yes, one of y'all gonna have to be the sacrificial whatever, and it was Eric Swalwell. Democrats will throw your monkey ass away like a dirty dish towel when you do not have any more usefulness.
Are they gonna drive Starmer out of there finally?
So, just warning to all of you who are supporting Democrats and who are working for the devil, eventually your name will come up on the back of the milk carton. Anyway, yeah, Eric Swalwell, the dumpster fire that he calls a life, is over. His wife gonna leave him, and she is gonna take whatever's left and leave him with just enough money to buy a damn pack of cigarettes and a pair of flip-flops. He ain't got nothing. He's gone. He's done. Now, these members of Congress who are doing
I hope she's right. I'd like to see him do jail time, actually.
this shit, your money needs to be immediately cut off. You don't get a
What's that one also? Pencil neck there. He needs to go too.
congressional salary when you're stealing from taxpayers. Fuck that. We're over it. And by the way, their little congressional pension. I'm sure that's why Sheila Furfulis.
No, out in California, they're going to pass a bill so you can't report on them if they're stealing money that way. You can't do investigative reporting at all.
Mukopolis or whatever the hell her name is, she won't get out of that seat because she wants to get them 5 years so she can get a congressional retirement for the rest of her life. You bunch of vultures.
Colin, what is the number that they're saying was part of the gang rape? I've seen numbers all the way from 9 up to like 28, 40 guys raped this girl in England there.
Disgusting. It's
just outside of church. They caught her just outside of church.
Gotta stop.
I think they're trying to stop you from going to church, I think. All right, here's a little more of Karen Kennedy. She's pretty good.
Iran is losing $400 million a day, billions of dollars every month because they blockaded the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump came around them, slapped them in the head on the way around and said, I'm blockading your blockade. So guess what? Nothing's going to.
Actually, I got more on this. This is really starting to work, the blockade, because they're using that money to keep all their people in line because they brought in people from Iran and from Afghanistan with guns to keep them from rising up. But once they run out of the money, which that they're starting to happen, they're going to leave.
To get through that I don't allow to get through. Oh, hello, China. Yeah, so what President Trump says goes, and there's nothing you can do about it, and you're going to continue to lose money. So President Trump is opening up the Strait of Hormuz. There are ships that are going through, contrary to the reporting of the Jezebel whore, Sodom and Gomorrah media, who are trying to continue to say that Trump is losing this little conflict, and that is absolutely not the case. And then so they're losing billions of dollars a month, and they're going to have to do a deal. President Trump has had it. We're not going to play your little la 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 death to America games anymore. That's some 7th century bullshit. You want to do that? Do it on your own time and your own dime, but you ain't gonna do it with taxpayer money no more. We're done with you. And we have our own shit to deal with here in America. We have a golden age that we need to catch up to and make things easier for our citizens. We've taken care of the world for too long. And the Europe is supporting, of course, the IRGC because, you know, they've had to stick up their ass about America since, I don't know, 4th of July, 1776, that whole thing where, you know, the money wasn't going over to Europe anymore to take care of the aristocracy. So they don't like us very much. I mean, they tolerate us, but they need us. It's really quite the quandary for them. And Iran seems to think that they have the cards, and a lot of what they do is
altogether, I can see over 78 are here. Say hi if you're here.
Is pay influencers, they pay media, they pay these weird politicians to spread propaganda. Because if you think,
yeah, Colin, I did see a little bit about that. I really don't have a video about that though. I seen some posts about that.
Something, then you know you'll just give up on the opposition.
They had trapped them or something, wasn't it? Maybe you could type more about it.
Kind of like Arizona.
Or if you have a video link, I could play it.
Arizona, remember when Fox News called the election early for Joe Biden? Remember that whole thing, 2020? And then it was just like, oh, well, then why vote? That whole thing, you know, it's all in your mind. But they're not winning. They're not winning. President Trump blockaded their blockade. They're losing billions of dollars. They don't have Slim Slacks Obama in there handing them pallets and pallets and plane loads full of cash. And they're going to be on food stamps by the end of the week. I can see it. But we're not going to be the world's police anymore. And Europe, you know, we've been supporting you people since World War II through the Marshall Plan. That only stopped for the first time under President Trump. And then Biden kicked it back on, and now Trump turned them spigots right back off. Because now you got to take care of yourself.
See a lot watching, no one's commenting. Is it chat working?
Especially when you are not supporting us. You're not allies. You're liars. Look at Spain. Look at what we've done for all of you people. We have military bases in Spain. We have military bases in Italy. We have military bases in Deutschland, in Germany. And Spain, let me just go back to them for a hot second. They've been letting all these sub-Saharan Africans into their country and these Middle Easterners. And I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Spain is cooked with no American military bases, no American support. We ain't sending them wire transfers through the SWIFT system every day. Y'all is cooked. You're done. You're done. And, you know, President Trump is tired of our blood and treasure going over to these foreign countries to protect their borders, while our borders were wide open under Biden and Harris and all these other clowns. So now here,
heck, he was buying them plane tickets to fly them in faster.
We are with Europe that is supporting all the propaganda of the IRGC and spreading the propaganda and the rumors, and on the side of the IRGC because they just want Trump to go away, and it's not going to happen. I hate it for you. But, you know, we've been paying your medical bills for decades through the most favored nation status that President Trump made a deal with the pharmaceutical companies saying, yeah, you're not going to we're just not gonna deal with you people, and you're not gonna sell your products in the United States if you don't. And I'm gonna tariff your ass out the yin yang if you do not give us most favored nation status. So you put their hand behind their arm behind their back, screaming "Uncle," and they did it. They were all in the Oval Office, Albert Bourla, Moderna, and all these companies, Pfizer. Hello, Mr. President, we would love to cut a deal with you. Yeah, I know the fuck you would. You know which side your bread is buttered on, because American citizens were paying all the high costs for healthcare and for prescriptions. And it's just under President Trump 2.0 that these prices have come down. You got to admit it. Even if you're a liberal, you got to admit it. It's better for you now. And so thank you, President Trump, for doing that for us. Dude, Iran is going to have to make a deal. We're not going to deal with them all summer and into the midterms with these high-ass gas prices. Y'all going to have to figure out how to take care of yourselves. The Persian people want to be free of you. They don't want to be continually under your boot and on their necks. They want to be free. And we're just not going to deal with you anymore. We got American citizens to take care of. We got a golden age. We're going and getting that money. And that's why this is getting figured out. That's why President Trump is taking the more aggressive stance, because he's sick of dealing with unruly foreigners. We got to clean up the foreign shit first so that we can truly focus on America. So chill out about the gas prices. You put up with 8 years of high gas prices under Slim Slacks ass Obama. You put up with another 4 years, total of 12, of high gas prices under Joe Biden and that Hindu Horus, Kamala Harris. So chill the hell out. It's getting figured out within a short amount of time. You'll see. Anyway, Iran, cooked. Europe, you're not our ally. Maybe you never were.
Well, not your leadership. I wouldn't say their leadership is. The people, though, I would say different. All right, here's about the education secretary from Katie Hopkins.
Ooh, breaking news. Here in batshit bonkers Britain, where the bells are blue and I just overshot the runway slightly. First up, the IMF downgrades the UK economy to a growth figure of 0.8%, which is basically kind of a deep vegetative state at this point, the lowest in all of the G7. And who do we blame for that? Do we blame crippling taxation? Do we blame the fact that welfare payments are greater than the income we have coming in? Oh no, we blame Trumpy Trump over in Iran, because apparently now Trumpy Trump is to blame for bloody everything. In other news, the Education Secretary, Bridget Phillipson, she's the new ceramic bobhead hair by Lego. Have you seen? I'm beginning to think that's an actual helmet that they have to take in turns wearing. Either way, she says we are going to ban chicken nuggets from schools because our kids are too fat. I'm hoping they might use David Lammy as the poster boy for this, because he is, after all, morbidly obese. He has oil coming straight from the top of his head, and I allege that he smells like an Uber driver's armpit. And finally, over in the EU, the president of the Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, says in lockstep with Australia, we should prepare for energy lockdowns. We should stay at home. The best kind of energy is the energy that we do not use. Do not use your cars. Do not fly. Stay home and leave the fun to the billionaire classes. Like
is how can we reduce the demand? Because of course the least expensive energy is the energy that is not used.
Yeah, sure thing, Ursula. I see you. That's it, my darlings. Batshit bonkers Britain.
Well said all the time, I tell you. Well said. Why don't I go with, okay, this is about the police shooting.
Now, this information is just into the newsroom in the last 5 or 6 minutes. We just got body cam photos from the incident, as well as extra details that we'll walk you through in a second.
Yeah, we do want to warn you that these photos are difficult to look at, very chilling. The suspect, we just learned, you see her there. Her name is Naomi Guzman. She's 31 years old, and police say they gave a number of commands for her to drop that knife you see in her hand. She refused, and that's when 2 officers opened fire on her. You can see that little boy.
Yeah, she's just about to kill him.
He's in the shopping cart, and she has that knife going at him there. She did die.
She didn't even buy that knife. She stole it.
At the scene there.
Investigators say that she shoplifted that knife, and then they also walked us through what happened inside. So they looked at store surveillance video and say that Mrs. Guzman had shoplifted the knife, then approached the child and the guardian in the shopping aisle. showed him that big knife. You can see how big it is, and forced the guardian to walk ahead of the cart while the child remained inside. Then Ms. Guzman directed them through the store and into the parking lot. And that's when officers arrived shortly, and the guardian and the child exited the store and began walking east to that parking lot entrance.
Now, per policy, those officers involved are on paid administrative leave while this investigation continues. We're going to have more live details from the scene throughout the evening on this situation.
Oh man, there's mental. That's the problem, I think. All right, here's a little short one from Karen Kennedy also.
This is Good News 47. We always talk about the bad news, but let's focus on the good news. The reasons why we voted President Trump back into office. Good News 47 for today. Eric Daugherty posted, courtesy of Rapid Response 47. Big shout out to both of you. Thank you for your posts. Trump Interior Secretary Doug Burgum announces major groundbreaking on natural gas pipeline in New York City.
It's not have kids playing sports anymore either, there, Colin.
Enough natural gas to power 2.3 million homes, lowering energy costs, which is hugely important because the price of
the other thing is there's seed oil in a lot of our bread and stuff like that.
Energy has gone through the roof in New York. Over $1,000 per household in savings and thousands of jobs supported. These Nice pipeline is going to deliver enough natural gas to power 2.3 million homes. And we're talking of billions of dollars in savings. And that is Doug Burgum. So thank you, President Trump, once again, for promises made, promises kept. Follow Eric Daugherty and Rapid Response 47 on X. Yo, good news for a change, huh? We need that. Next time, see ya on Good News 47.
Yeah. So, yeah, here's a little bit of pudding.
Ooh, honey, child, let me tell you, Miss Dawn Fantasia, the Republican Assemblywoman up there in New Jersey in District 24, honey, child, you need to be promoted, ma'am.
Of God and all that is good. Can you differentiate between the fact that we don't make laws that control the federal government? My God, what are we doing? I'm not a lawyer. I was an English teacher and I comprehend that. My 5th grade middle school English students would understand it. I am coming to you not from a point of ideology, because I know in the minority party, we already lost that argument. You guys are way out in the ether with that. I'm not even hoping to win the ideology. I'm hoping to win the logical argument to say, why do we keep passing laws that are going to end up in court, we lose, and the taxpayer gets shafted over and over and over? You cannot vote yes for a law that controls local, county, state, and federal. No! Federal's got to come off. For this to count, the only reason why you're passing it is to affect federal agents. Hello? Lights on, no one's home. I'm not an attorney. I need a freaking honorary degree after going through this for 4 hours yesterday saying, what? A room full of lawyers.
There are no lies detected in what Miss Fantasia just said. And yet again, Miss Fantasia, you need to be promoted. You have what we call common sense that's not very common anymore. You do critical thinking, and that's very rare. Ma'am, if I lived in New Jersey, vote for you in a heartbeat.
Amen. Amen on that. All right, what they're trying to do to Nick Shirley out there in California, they're going to do it in a lot of the blue states. As they're going to try to cover up their stealing of all these agencies and stuff like that. They're going to pass a law to arrest you or fine you for reporting on it. And they're going to make it illegal to do so. Watch this.
This hospice is empty, but they're still charging patients.
Sir, you need to stop recording. Why? There's nobody in there. Recording is now a violation. Says who? Says Bill AB 2624. The fraud is not a violation? No. The violation is you recording. So the illegal thing is legal, but the legal thing is illegal? We prefer not to use those terms. Do you admit that this hospice is billing for fake treatments? No, I'm telling you that exposing this will cost you $10,000. You're fining me $10,000 for exposing fraud? This is your final warning. Let me ask you something. Are you making money off of this? Sir, I'm asking you to leave. So if I steal money from the taxpayers, that's fine. No, if you expose it, you get fined. Now leave. Who wrote this policy? People who prefer you didn't ask. So let me get this straight. You're committing fraud, but I owe you money? We accept card or cash. So you are saying fraud is legal? No. Right. Because fraud is illegal. Correct. Then why aren't you stopping it? We can't. Why? Because that would be illegal.
Pretty much did that pretty well. Now, Canada, they do this whole maids thing and this and that, and because they got so many illegals in there, and they got this great healthcare system, supposedly, their healthcare system is basically denying you treatment. So this mother has to allow her daughter to die up in Canada because of lack of treatment. She's going to get one more treatment, and that's all the government's going to do to save her life.
Our family is heartbroken to share that Charlie's final infusion will be tomorrow. We are processing this news, and at this time, there's just not much else I can say. I'm just really sorry, Charlie.
Yeah, I have a hard time too.
And we love you so much.
I can blow it up a little that way. Hey, Hazel, I can blow it up a little bit that way if I click on each one of them. See, I can do that. But I have to be right there to click on them. I don't know if that helps. Let me know if that helps, Hazel. Is it a little bit bigger? If you're on a computer, you can see it better. That's for sure. Yeah, I see what you mean totally. I have to blow it up sometimes too. I can't see it over in that the right column there at all. Yeah, most people just listen or just say hi and we know you're there, that kind of stuff. All right, just about the special elections. I guess especially in Latino areas, conservatives are doing really well. Here we go.
The legacy media is trying to convince you that the midterms are a foregone conclusion, that the Democrats are going to trounce the GOP as Trump's popularity plummets. They told us the 2024 results were a fluke, that voters are done with Trump and the GOP. Well, last night, three special elections just blew that narrative apart into 1,000 pieces. Republicans didn't just win, they dominated. And they dominated with a demographic that the Democrats thought would be the key to their coming permanent majority. In 3 heavily Latino districts, in every single race, the Republicans didn't just hit Trump's 2024 numbers, they crushed them. Make sure to stick with me to the very end of this video because we got the race-by-race breakdown, the margin numbers that are astonishing, and what all of this tells us about where the Latino vote is really headed as we barrel on toward the 2026 midterms. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, enjoying yet another glorious day of Christian leaders. So grab your tickets at that case. Well, then we had last night. Last night happened, and last night, bottom line, was a gut punch to that narrative. 3 major Republican victories last night in 3 heavily Latino districts. And in all 3 races, Republicans didn't just win. They exceeded President Trump's 2024 margins. In fact, they blew it out of the water by double digits. First up, the race for West Miami mayor. Now, for those who don't know, West Miami is about as Latino as it gets in America. We're talking a city that's roughly 90% Hispanic, with the largest group being Cuban Americans. It's the heart of South Florida's Cuban exile community. These are people who know exactly what socialism looks like. They fled communism. They got no interest whatsoever in watching the Democrat Party drag America toward the same cliff their parents and grandparents escaped. And last night, the Republican candidate didn't just win the mayoral race. He won it by a margin that was plus 11% over Trump's already incredibly strong 2024 performance in that district. Trump won West Miami, if you don't know, by 31 points. But the Republican mayoral candidate, Eric Diaz-Padrón, he won it by 42 points, an 11-point overperformance, 71 to 29. It was an absolute blowout. And the trajectory of Latino support towards the GOP, as we can see here, has only gone up, not down, since 2024. Second, the West Miami City Council election. Now, same city, same demographics, same story, but if you can believe it, even bigger. The Republican candidate for city council outperformed Trump's 2024 margin by plus 18. 18 points. The Democrats wanted to flip a Cuban-American community in the shadow of Miami, and they got absolutely shellacked. Again, in a district that's over 85% Hispanic. This is not a fluke. This is a community doubling down. And then there's the one that should really make Democrats lose sleep, Rio Rancho, New Mexico. Now, we've been talking a lot lately about New Mexico because the otherwise reliably blue state has been trending very noticeably red of late, with two demographics that have been shifting towards the GOP, Latinos and the working class. And lo and behold, what do we have here? The Republican candidate once again demolished his Democrat opponent in the Rio Rancho mayoral race, outperforming Trump's 2024 margins by an astonishing plus 30 points. 30 points in New Mexico, in a heavily Hispanic working class district. Gang, that's not a blip. That's a realignment. So let me put all three together for you. West Miami mayor, plus 11 over Trump's margin. West Miami City Council, plus 18 over Trump's margin. Rio Rancho mayor, plus 30 over Trump's margin. That's not just a sweep. That's a Democrat catastrophe. That's a Democrat implosion. Seriously, can you imagine what the headlines would be like this morning if the Democrats had won with overperformances like that in 3 simultaneous special elections? Now, a word of caution in all this. We do not want to read too much into this for the midterms because special elections are not particularly predictive for midterm results. So that's an important caveat here. Special elections are just that, right? They are special. They're one-offs. And they generally don't offer any real insights beyond themselves. But that said, there is a key indicator here that's emerging in all 3 of these races that does indeed directly impact the midterms. And I'm going to show you what that indicator is and precisely why it matters as the GOP prepares to defend their congressional majority just 7 months from now. But first, when we think about war, we picture soldiers in battlefields, but the really twice bacteria, the 3, that's 8. The Democrats' entire midterm strategy is built on the assumption that Latino voters who went with Trump in 2024 are now largely coming home. Remember, the key to the Obama coalition was not black voters. It was Latino voters. Latinos voted for Obama 2-1 over McCain and Romney. They were the difference, right? It was a 70-30 split. So that's why the Democrats were so desperate in opening the southern border over the 4 years of Biden, because they thought they were flooding the nation with the political demographic that would guarantee their perpetual rule. And so they just assumed that eventually Latino voters would come to their senses and return to the Democrats, especially if Trump is not on the ballot. Last night blew a massive hole in that assumption, because what last night showed is that the shift isn't just about Trump being on the ballot. It's deeper than that. These are local elections. There's no Trump at the top of the ticket pulling voters along. These Republican candidates won on their own in heavily Latino communities, and they won bigger than Trump did. Now, the question, of course, is what's happening here? What's driving this shift? Why are Latinos overwhelmingly moving to the right? And the data suggests it's not one thing. It's a combination of factors. It's the economy. It's the concern over law and order. It's the concern over immigration. It's the concern over family values, right? Latinos are very socially conservative, and they despise the less propensity for all things woke. Edison Research found that in 2024, Trump won Latino men outright, 54 to 44%, a massive swing from where things stood in 2020. I believe it was a 40-point swing to the right. And Pew Research found Trump came close to actually winning the Latino vote outright in 2024. Numbers that would have been utterly unthinkable just, 10 years ago. Remember, they were voting 2-1 Democrat. But these are people who work with their hands, who run small businesses, who watch prices at the grocery store and the gas pump, who want their neighborhood safe, who want their kids to have a shot at the American dream. They want sanity from their leaders. And they've looked at the Democrat Party and their issues, their policies of open borders and to fund the police and government dependency and woke ideology. And Latinos, by and large, are saying, no thanks. No thanks. And now they're even saying it louder. Now, make no mistake, the legacy media is they're already trying to memory hole what happened last night. Do a Google search.
I agree with you, Tammy. I agree. I mean, they're just so programmed on the left. I don't know.
You're not going to find a word on these elections. Thank God.
All they do is start screaming Nazi and all that crap if you try to debate them.
For Elon Musk's X. Again, just imagine if the results were reversed, that the Democrats blew out the Republicans with margins that surpassed Obama's by double digits. It'd be on the front.
It's the commie party, Tammy. It's the commie party. They don't, the communists, they wanted to get rid of the family and religion and stuff like that. They want you to praise big government.
Front page of every failed news outlet. So they're going to keep running their stories about how Latinos are fleeing Trump. They're going to keep...
It's crazy how similar all this stuff's coming down in all these countries, very similar to here in America.
Keep citing their polling from, showing a swing back toward Democrats, the same polls that told us that Kamala was going to win in a landslide. But here's what they won't tell you. Polling and voting are two very different things. People can tell pollsters what they think they're supposed to say. Pollsters can rig the polls in all kinds of ways. But in the voting booth in West Miami, in Rio Rancho, they pulled the lever overwhelmingly for the Republican by wider margins than ever. And that is the only data point that actually matters.
Forget the turnout. We can totally flip this in the midterms. The narrative against the narrative.
The GOP's Latino coalition is not retreating. It's consolidating. And heading into November, that's very, very good news for President Trump, for the Republican Party, and for the America First agenda. So what do you guys think? Is the Latino realignment real and permanent? Is this a preview of November? Let me know in the comments section below. And as always, make sure to smack that bell.
Yeah. All right. The next one's about Mark Carney up in Canada. Similar to what's going on in England.
Mark Carney, the self-proclaimed outsider and the self-proclaimed best choice for the Liberal leader of Canada after Justin Trudeau resigns. It only took me 5 minutes to realize that this guy was more of an insider than the entire members list of the Bohemian Grove Secret Society. Yeah, the guy's been at Bilderberg meetings, like a true outsider, like you and me. We're outsiders. Of course, we're going to go to Bilderberg meetings. And if you're wondering why he's been filmed or had pictures taken with Ghislaine Maxwell. According to the Toronto Sun, it's because his wife's sister went to the same high school as Ghislaine Maxwell. Totally believable for someone who's gone to the Bilderberg meetings. Anyway, what Mark Carney is basically an economic grim reaper. He is BlackRock's trustee for bankruptcy. His entire job is to go into countries, absolutely...
Call them Democrats. Democrats there. Tammy?
Economically destroy them, and then have investment banks buy out all of the resources and labor while taking away your freedoms and rights under the Green New Deal. That was literally his idea.
Anyways,
so let me just show you some of the things I found about Mark Carney, you know, the outsider that everybody talks about. In 2008 crisis in Canada, what Mark Carney did is he loaded us up with so much debt that the moment the economy turned, the working class in Canada is now 75% working class, paid for it through interest rates so high they crippled and broke every middle class family with a mortgage. And then he moved to England and did the exact same to the English. And his name there is actually Mark Carnage. Even the former Liberal Party president, Stephen LeDrew,
Colin might remember him over there,
says that Carney is a wickedly dangerous man hoping to curtail individual freedom in order to achieve his...
No, they don't have any law in Canada about you having to be born there to run for office and win.
...view of what the world needs. He makes the WEF, the World Economic Forum, look like libertarians. He's also BlackRock's bankruptcy trustee. Isn't that weird how he's such an outsider? Lol. He's also leading a campaign for a green digital cryptocurrency to replace the US dollar, you know, because that's totally normal. He's such an outsider that he's basically a member of the group of 30. I mean, you might as well just be a part of the committee of 300, and also the World Economic Forum, and he's attended Bilderberg meetings. He also wrote, if some companies and industries fail to adapt to this new anti-carbon world, they will fail to exist. So he's basically telling you that you have no choice.
It's going to put you out of business. You better play ball or else.
Not really surprising, considering he wrote a book called Values, Building a Better World for All, and where he says Western society is morally rotten and also requires rigid control.
The better world to them is where they will own everything and they will be happy.
Controls on personal freedoms. And I also came to find out that he's been advising Justin Trudeau in the background in 2020, and he is the reason why Canadians had their bank accounts frozen during the trucker protests. Let me show you. Mark Carney said this about the convoy. Those who are still helping to extend...
No, when they took the trucks, they're starting to do that in England with the tractors.
And this occupation must be identified and punished to full force of the law. Drawing the line means choking off the money that financed this occupation. And he's not referring to financial organizations or companies disobeying his green rules, but the citizens who have the right to protest. Yeah. And what's also interesting is if you look into him, every job that he had, he was appointed to. There were multiple people in line for his job with a lot more experience than Mark Carney, and somehow he just got in. Because he's really good friends with people at Bilderberg groups and like other groups, you know, that kind of control everything in the world. So the guy is literally Justin Trudeau's handler. And because Justin Trudeau screwed up so much, he's now there to kind of finish Canada off. So if you guys really want to know who Mark Carney is, there you go. The outsider Mark Carney, aka the Grim Reaper for the economic destruction of Canada, and also the guy who's going to absolutely curtail and take away your freedoms in the name of the green environment initiatives.
Yep. What a sicko, I tell you. Oh, here's another one from her. She reported on the Hungary elections where Soros came in with huge money and stole that one. I think there was cheating going on. But the thing is, the guy who's a leftist ran to the right of the conservative nationalist party person. And we'll see, it'll be like Spamberger as soon as he gets in. Watch this.
So Hungary had a huge election and everyone is celebrating. And you know who else is celebrating? George Soros, Hillary Clinton, Justin Trudeau, you know, von der Leyen, that little troll that runs the EU. They're all celebrating. They're like, yay, Hungary is finally going to join the EU. And I was like, wait a minute, who did they elect? They elected a guy who shits his pants because he's such a huge alcoholic that he used to beat his wife and kids, whips out his ding-dong in front of their children, and microwaved a puppy in front of his entire family. Congratulations, Hungary, for being retarded. Oh my gosh. It's like you look to Canada and the rest of Europe and you're like, hold my beer, watch this. If you don't believe me, let me just show you. This book is written by the ex-wife of the new leader of Hungary, and it's called 16 Years with a Monster. He, in front of the children, and then, one of our puppies in the microwave right in front of our eyes, and the children needed psychological help afterwards. The kids in question the puppies in question, and a video of him shitting his pants in a church because he's so drunk because he's an alcoholic. Congratulations, Hungary. It's like, so let me get this straight. You look to Germany, who right now is tabling a bill to basically ban conservatives from buying homes. I'm not even kidding. The Nazis are coming. Oh, no, wait, they never left. They just changed their flags from like brown and gold to rainbow colors and called themselves liberals. New proposal include granting local authorities the right to stop individuals deemed anti-constitutional from purchasing real estate in their municipalities. And if you're like, how are they going to do that? Oh, don't worry. The Nazis already have a call line. And in that call line, they're going to be like, are you hiding the unvaccinated in your floorboards? Just kidding. They're going through all your social media posts. And if you have said something like, hey, you guys are a bunch of liars, apparently that's deemed anti-constitutional because, you know, fuck free speech. It's Germany. It's Nazi land. And the liberals are ruling, which are the Nazis. So yeah, isn't that awesome? Oh, but it gets even better because in London, their mayor, sad little Dick Khan, has decided instead of banning SUVs, because apparently they're causing a safety issue, he's just going to charge people more for having SUVs. London mayor, sad little Dick Khan, is considering charging SUV drivers in the capital.
Oh, they'll always take the taxes they can extract from you so they can pay for getting more illegals in.
After Transportation for London research claimed they created intensifying risks across London. SUVs dangerous? Muslim gang rapes? Fine. And Hungary looked at this and went, yeah, seems good, right? Congratulations. RIP Hungary, though.
ridiculous. All right, well, let's go on to what's going on in England before I get to that other stabbing thing. Let's start with this here.
Here they come! Here they come!
Now this is over outside a church. Some girls, little girls, or girl was. There's another story that Colin was trying to find for me. Was raped, gang raped, and they won't release the information on it. There's stories anywhere from like 11 to 40 young men raped this girl or girls, and they aren't doing anything about it. Oh, about the puppy, yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, and they elected him. That could happen here in the United States if you got TDS or something like that, I guess, you know. Now, this father tried to go after going after some of the Muslims that did this, and the cops arrested him. Watch this. They're protecting the illegals. He was trying to go to the area where they were. The guy was going to take them all on because it was his daughter. And then he gets arrested. Now, of course, these houses are all put up by taxpayer dollars and fully paid for. All their utilities, everything. Everything's paid for by your tax dollars. The whole family's upset. Wouldn't you be? I would be. Unbelievable. There's more on this. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is the wrong one. This is from yesterday's show. I clicked on the wrong one. Here we go.
His name is Irish. What's their name? It's not Irish at all, I said. Oh, you let her.
All right, this was. I better rewind it. It's some thing to let people in. I forgot the event or something like that. And they're only letting the illegals to go in. Anyone who's Irish can't go in.
His name is Irish. What's their name? It's not Irish at all.
Of course, they're getting in for free, and Irish people can't.
You let her through, and you won't answer my question, and I have to take your direction. Because she was what? Because she was foreign, is it? That's not on at all. This is our country, not theirs. I just want to get back to the car, is that not alright? And what? Now I'm joining the motherfucking protest.
Unbelievable.
You don't mind me asking, and how come you come into the fuel protest?
Well, I think it's badly needed, and I hope everything will go right.
Where did you come from?
County Cork. We came up yesterday, and we stayed yesterday, and we'll go home tomorrow evening.
And what age are you, don't mind me asking?
I'm 85.
Oh my God, you're an amazing... Where's your husband? Is that your husband there? He's up and hiding.
Dennis, come here for a picture.
Dennis, come over. So the boat came up from Cork to support the fuel protesters, yes? Come on. You are amazing. Amazing people. Come on. Well done to you, and it's lovely having you.
I hear you, Marianne.
Up the rebels, as they say. Up the rebels.
And they believe she was raped by like 40 men. And they just kept taking turns, sometimes more than once.
Brilliant, brilliantly.
Colin's telling me about there's some that have been trapped for months and months, and they had them as sex slaves down there. It's ridiculous, I think, you know, if you ask me. Let me go to this one.
Eugene, tell me how you're feeling now that the protest is over.
Look, it's been a long week, but we haven't yet heard from the meeting. We haven't got what we wanted. But this, I think it started out as a fuel protest, but it really turned into a movement. This country has woken up, and it's not about fuel prices. It's about cost of living for everybody in this country.
And the cost of living's going up because of inflation, because they're giving away free money to all the illegals they're letting in that aren't working, and they're getting everything free.
We've woke this country up. We didn't get what we wanted. Yes, we put people out, but if we just decided to stay at home, park our trucks up at home, if everyone that's out protesting, all these trucks, all these tractors, if they stayed at home and said, we can't afford to drive, the forecourts would still be empty, the shelves would be empty, this country was shut down. Because unlike the government, these are the people that keep this country going. The government went all this for 8 months, this country was still rolling. If the farmers aren't farming, if the trucks aren't rolling, there's no food on the table for people. And we've opened up to people to support. Yes, we're going to get called names, and some people don't support us. This wasn't selfish. This isn't about us. This is about the country. And so much support. You should have seen the support here all week. Families coming in, businesses coming in, dropping off food all night long. We give away food to local charities, homeless charities, because we have...
John, you missed the stories about in England there. There were some gang rapes of kids, and the cops are protecting the gang rapers, and have arrested the father that tried to go after him for raping their daughter.
Just too much of it. It was just amazing. And I see people on the streets now. Look, we have woken this country up that we are not happy the way things are going with this government and the EU. And hopefully now they might take some action. I was very, very disappointed to see riot squad being set on people for a peaceful protest. And thankfully we decided we've been peaceful here. We've been playing ball and fines all week. And the last thing we want to know is to kick off. So we told the guards, listen, we'll stand down. I think we've met our point. And again, I apologise to anyone who missed appointments.
It's about 3 or 4 days old.
This is what we felt we needed to do.
There's no riot squad here, just to be clear.
No, there is no riot squad. But if we didn't, there would be. We were told. We had a choice. Stand down peacefully or the riot squad would come in.
May there be... Just let that pass. May there be future protests back here in Fines again?
The ball is in the court of the government now. Like, we don't want to go. We haven't slept in a week. We don't want this, but let's hopefully we don't have to. But I think now the government have opened their eyes. They said things aren't right in this country. There's grown men crying because they're 2 weeks away from losing their business.
Quit letting the illegals come in and giving them free money.
And they work hard. So something needs to change. Something needs to change.
Needs to change. Unbelievable.
Ireland is
They know damn well what they're doing to the people.
not being governed anymore. It's being managed. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is Disco Reaper. And if you're hearing this, you're not alone. Ireland has been here before.
Oh, you saw
Not
that
in
one the other
comfort,
day, huh?
not in
Okay.
prosperity, but in that quite suffocating moment
Once in a while, I'll download the same thing a second time.
when the people realise they are no longer being governed. They're being managed. Under
Or is it
Meatball
this one you're
Martin
talking about,
and
John?
Simon Hamas, this country hasn't stumbled. It has been stripped. Stripped of confidence, stripped of control, stripped of truth. And they expect you to accept it. Look around you. Convoys on the road, engines idling in defiance, farmers, hauliers, families, the backbone of this country, pushed to the edge of survival. These are not radicals. These are not fringe voices. These are the people who built Ireland, and they're being treated like criminals for refusing to go quietly. We've seen this before, when they tried to turn a human necessity into a revenue stream, or water. The people said no, not politely, not quietly, and they were forced to listen. Now the same machine is back, more sophisticated, more insulated, and more arrogant. And this time it hides behind compliance, behind targets, behind language designed to confuse, delay, and silence. But underneath, they no longer answer to you. And the media? They don't challenge anymore. They don't challenge power anymore. They cushion it. They shrink the protests.
Hey, Kirk.
They distort the message. They turn desperation into disruption.
Satanism.
Because if the full truth
But
was
God
shown,
wins, yeah.
if people saw the
I agree.
scale of anger, the scale of betrayal, this would already be over. And while all of this unfolds, they reach for something even more permanent. Your children. Education has been hollowed out and replaced with ideology. Not to inform, but to
Controlled by the cult.
shape. Not to educate, but to align. Parents pushed aside, teachers pressured, questions discouraged. Because a generation that knows who they are cannot be controlled. But a generation disconnected from its roots, that can be rewritten. And there's the part they hope you never connect. This didn't happen by accident. As Owen Lenihan writes in Vandalising Ireland, this didn't happen by chance. Ireland was reshaped piece by piece into something its own people no longer recognise. It flows from a system that no longer sits in Dublin, but stretches outward, beyond the reach of the Irish voter. A system where decisions affecting Irish lives are shaped by people the Irish people never chose. But Ireland was not built for that. Patrick Pearse did not stand in 1916 to trade one distant authority from another. James Connolly did not face a firing squad so Ireland could become administratively convenient. Michael Collins did not fight a war for independence so that sovereignty could be diluted behind closed doors. They understood something simple. A nation either governs itself or it doesn't. There's no middle ground. And it didn't end with them. Every generation has its voices. The ones who step forward when everyone else is looking at the ground. James Geoghegan today, James Conway, Ned Kelly, Cat Nolan, Mick Connell, the Russian Irish, and many, many more. Not elected, not protected, just people who choose to speak when staying silent would have been easier. That's where change always begins.
They were
The
selected.
proclamation wasn't poetry. It was a warning. The Constitution wasn't a decoration. It's a line in the sand. And that line has been crossed. What we are living through now is not mismanagement. It is managed decline, disguised as progress, sold as inevitability. Housing broken, costs of living spiralling, public trust shattered. And they still carry on because they believe something, that you will adapt, that you will tolerate, that you will eventually stop resisting. But that belief dies here. Not tomorrow, not someday. Here, now. Because from this day forward, the Irish people are no longer asking to be heard. We are making it impossible to be ignored. Not quite acceptance, no more polite frustration, no more waiting for permission. This is the line. And once a people decide they have had enough, there is no government on earth that can hold that line against them. Because history tells a different story. Ireland does not stay silent forever. There comes a moment, always, when pressure turns into movement. So understand this clearly. Nothing changes unless pressure is applied. Support those standing up. Go down and share a cup of tea, a few sandwiches with the lads with the tractors on the lines. Organise where you are. Force the conversation into the open. Make it impossible to ignore. Because once a government stops fearing its people, it stops serving them. And right now, they are not afraid. But they should be. And look at what they're doing now. They're rolling out senior Garda figures to send messages, warnings, implications, carefully worded statements that sound neutral, but land as a threat. Including a senior appointee from Canada, now standing in front of the Irish public, telling how far you're allowed to go. Understand what that signals. This is someone shaped by a system that dealt with mass protest not by listening, but tightening control. The Canadian trucker protest showed the world how quickly governments can move when ordinary working people step out of line. Bank accounts were frozen, pressure applied, dissent reframed as something dangerous. Different country, same instinct. And now, that tone, that posture, is being echoed here, not to solve the problem, but to contain it. And if you're wondering what you can do, then make yourself impossible to ignore. Not shouting, not online, direct. To the people who sit in office because of you. A message they can't filter, can't spin, can't ignore. Because silence is exactly what they're counting on. Ireland does not belong to the politicians. It does not belong to the institutions. And it does not belong to any system that operates without consent. It belongs to its people. And if you're still listening, you already feel it.
Jamie.
Something's shifting. Something's building. Reaper's rule number 14.
Doesn't look like a milk bottle, huh?
If your voice changes nothing,
Maybe an
you're not
upside
being
down milk
heard.
bottle.
You're being managed. You don't need permission to speak. We just need each other to pass it on. The Republic isn't gone. It's waiting. And as always, folks, it's good to be back.
Looks like you got in a good walk.
And stay classy.
Probably needed it. All right, a little bit more on this. I'm going to get on to that other stabbing that happened here in the United States.
Right, so I'm completely past trying to not offend people anymore. I don't care if I lose followers. I don't care if I lose support. Quite frankly, that's not why I got into this. I don't care. I'm going to be brutally honest. 29 men have once again been caught doing the most brutal things imaginable to a 13-year-old girl. One girl, 29 men at the same
That's a number I heard, 29.
time. And have a fucking guess what background they've come from. And the worst part is, right, this isn't some isolated case. It's one story in a constant stream, day after day, week after week, year after year. This is happening across the country, in cities, in towns, in places that people call home. There are networks moving girls around like they are pieces of meat. Children, our children, little white girls.
Colin, is this the one you were talking about? Because I did see something on it here, and this is the one I was thinking of.
And I'm getting fed up because everyone's got something to say online. Everyone's angry in the comments. Everyone says enough is enough. But what does that actually mean? And when will that actually mean something? I am disgusted at the vast majority of the British public right now, and I don't care about upsetting people. I'm finished. I am done caring about, I won't say that because, people might not like it. I don't care. Rats will fight to the death to protect their babies. Humans in Great Britain, we're just accepting it. What has happened to us? What have we become? How have we reached a point where fathers will spend their time, their money, their energy, their effort, travelling the length and breadth of this country for a fucking football match, but won't stand up when it's their own daughters? It's disgusting, and I don't care if I lose followers or upset people. It's the truth. Why are people sitting this out? And why, when people actually try to do something, do people not show up or do their best to try and tear people down? We launched Operation 2026 this week. I've been advertising it for months, multiple locations outside the very buildings where decisions are made. And the turnout has been shocking. I put reps in place. We bought flags galore to hand out. Last year, all I got was protesting at the weekend is pointless. It doesn't change anything. Doing one day at a time is pointless. It doesn't change anything. We need to head to government and council buildings for multiple days through the week, cause disruption, blah, 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 right? So that's what I did. I got it set up for everyone. Now that it's actually come to fruition, now it's an actual reality, and now that people need to step up to the plate, people have gone, oh God, yeah, I can't be arsed turning up. And it's not just us. Other movements are seeing exactly the same thing. People aren't showing up. So I'm going to ask you properly now, what is it going to take? Because right now, I'm seeing message after message, comment after comment. I'm getting it constantly from people. Oh, what's the point? Oh, the country's finished. Oh, nothing will change. Oh, I'd love to protest, but if I turn up, then my cousins, aunties, uncles, dogs, sisters,
Every movement has to start somewhere.
This transgender dog might be too offended. Get a grip. That mindset is exactly why nothing changes. Nothing changes if people sit at home and accept this. Nothing changes if people convince themselves that it's already over. You've got to fucking snap out of it. Nothing changes if everyone waits for someone else to act first. At some point, people have to decide who they are. Not online, not in comments, in real life. People, please, if this isn't enough to get people moving, then what is? If protecting our children isn't a priority, then what is? There has to be a line. And if this isn't it, then we've got very fucking serious problems in the UK right now. You can go to nationalprotest.co.uk. The locations are there. Please turn up whenever you can. You can turn up any day. That's the beauty of this. This is what people called for months in the comment sections, messaging me, going on, we need to do more, we need to step it up, we need to up the ante. So that's what we've done. UTK is next month. Turn up. Whatever rallies, protests, whatever's going on in your local area, do something, turn up. Please, I am begging you. Or we are finished. Make no mistake about that. If you do nothing, nothing will change. So please, turn up.
Okay, he has that right. He's talking about the right subject. Now, here's the one, the main reason why I was upset and was doing this live. This black woman basically executes a white woman because she's white. And the judge out in Seattle lets her go because she's a minority. And she's been letting people go. She's a leftist judge. She'll throw the book at you, but because this is a white woman and that's a black woman shooting her, it's blurred, so don't worry about that part so much. But this lady's insane for one, but the judge needs to be gone.
I'll blow your mouth. How long? How long? How long? Go to jail. I'm going to jail. How long? Go to jail. How long? How long?
She keeps shooting her. She reloads the gun or whatever.
Nah. Bitch, you dead? Bitch, you dead?
Yeah, you shot her 3 times.
Bitch, you dead?
Now she's kicking her even though she's dead.
Bitch, you dead?
Although she thinks she's breathing and has to shoot her again.
Yeah. Oh, the bitch still breathing. The bitch still breathing.
Are you gonna get her help?
That bitch is crazy. No, nigga. She tried to kill me. Bitch, you dead. Oh, boy, your motherfucking.
All right, I'm gonna play that again so everyone catches it.
I'll blow your mouth. How long? How long? How long? Go to jail. I'm going to jail. How long? Go to jail. How long? How long? Bitch. Nah. 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 Bitch, you dead? Bitch, you dead? Bitch, you dead? Bitch, you dead? Yeah. Oh, the bitch.
Anyways, all right, let me minimize that. And there's some things on it. There's a stammer stuff. Or am I in the wrong part here? I think I had it somewhere on here about that. If I can find it. I went past it, didn't I? It's a little further down. If I can find it. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Well, anyways, it turns out the lady was from Seattle. Wish I could find it quick. The judge is from Seattle, and maybe it's further up. I don't know. I'll go a little further down, and let her out because she's a minority and she's been doing that. But if you happen to be conservative, throws the book at you for any little minor thing, even some stuff that it doesn't even normally stick. That's about it. I should play this too, though.
To criminalize investigative journalism. So after I expose widespread fraud all across America, and quite frankly, states like Minnesota and California are just the worst
asylums,
at letting fraud take place, especially inside of immigrant communities. For instance, the Somalians in Minnesota and then the Armenians in California. And so now they're trying to silence anybody who exposes fraud inside of California. For instance, if this bill is passed, the Quality Leering Center that was in Minnesota would be protected from being exposed.
Oh, it's going to be passed, and Newsom's going to sign it to protect his butt because of all the stealing that's going on out there.
That is absolutely crazy. And the crazy thing about this is the person who's proposing this bill, her name is Mia Bonta. Her husband is the Attorney General of California. And so let's say you expose fraud. This is what could happen to you inside the state of California. You could get a misdemeanor, a $10,000 fine, imprisonment, and your content forced to be deleted.
Forced to be deleted, go to jail, plus a fine.
That is absolutely crazy. It is time for people to either stand up or we face mass oppression from those that rule us.
So I know I shared the thing. I couldn't find it. The judge, she looks like a trans judge or something out in Seattle. This happened out in Seattle. Maybe I'll try. Let me look again and see if I can find it quick. She's definitely either gay or trans. It might be way back on my page here. That's that lady crying. I thought it was right in here, but I wanted to try to find that judge thing. I know I got it from Twitter, where I get most things. Oh, this is close here. Give me a second. I'm sorry. This guy's speech was pretty good.
People of Ireland down. I will, because of the fact that I believe this government have left the people of Ireland down, I will be voting no confidence in the leader of the country, and I will be tendering my resignation as a Minister of State from now. And I would ask that future governments and this government, that they would listen, that they would be kind, that they would be understanding. And because of the fact that I believe...
I wish I could find it. I wonder if they took it down. I have a feeling I downloaded it just in time because I think they've taken it down. Yeah, I think they took it down. God dang it. Is that it? No. No, no, no. No, that's not it. I think they took it down. Oh, this is about they're executing. Oh, no, that's not the one. That's them pulling away from a pump gas. Oh, here's a trans.
What's up? Give me your headphones. What's up?
I'm not trying to. Oh, wait! I'm not trying to fight. Don't say that shit, then. Don't say that shit, then.
Anyway, so this boy pretending to be a girl is beating her up and threatening her if she doesn't talk. If she talks, no, I think they deleted it. I have a feeling they deleted it. Corruption rises. Yeah, I think they deleted it. I have a feeling they deleted it. Sometimes I get things twice. No, I don't seem to have it. Let me, what was that? I'll bring up another video. Okay, I was going to get a little bit into the Iran thing because now there's people going around. They're starting to execute the Iranian leaders. The Iranian people are. Here, I'll play a little of this.
Doing the blockade of Strait of Hormuz as they are getting suffocated.
I'm not going to play all this. I'm going to just try to play the parts that are interesting. Let me go.
Economically and also strategically in general, they now...
It's turning out that the economic thing is hurting them the most because they can't, they don't have the money to pay these other people to come in and keep the people in line, you know, to keep them from rising up.
Want a second and final round of talks before the end of the official end of the ceasefire. We're going to be talking about all this. We're going to get your reaction. As you can see, I'm again once again about that issue. Mossad talks between Israel. We've had the blockade, made it past the U.S. blockade. Quite clear. We're going to give you U.S. naval assets. Well, everybody was like, "That's very interesting." We are looking forward to this. But the reality was, this is also the live feed we have from the Strait of Hormuz right now. The red ones are tankers, oil tankers, and the green ones are the commercial vessels. Despite all that, the Islamic Republic have now decided to give in. Come back and do a surrender as the oil wells, as they're talking about, it's not going to...
Oh, here we go.
Are actually seeing any sea mines, despite what the IRGC were talking about. Vessels have been going through and everything has been absolutely fine. So that might have been another bluff. Now, let's talk about what's going on inside the country. The anti-Islamic occupation Iranians continue their covert operation and guerrilla warfare that they have. The first video is actually from the armed Iranian groups in the country who once again targeted a car. They chased it down. This was an IRGC vehicle. They opened fire on the roads.
That means the people that are trying to keep them in line, they chased them down. The Iranian people are starting to stand up and take them down. They've also blown up some stuff of theirs, buildings.
Let's watch this quickly and come back. That's the car at the front. They're right behind him. And now
they're starting to take out the enforcers. This is one of the enforcers.
Getting there, getting there. Now. Yeah. And the car's down.
If I was them, I'd go take their weapons, actually. But they need
so
more.
It's only Tuesday. Things are going smoothly. The blockade of Strait of Hormuz, a massive success so far. The Iranian people are not giving up the fight. Of course, those who have access to arms, they are continuing their rebellion against the Islamic occupiers. We also have another evidence.
By cutting off the money, they won't have the money to hire these people from out of the country to come in and police.
So video has now come out from inside the country, showing that the IRGC are so desperate, as you guys know, they have recruited child soldiers, teenagers, as young as 12, 13.
So that they're now having some 12 and 13-year-olds with guns trying to keep the Iranian people in line. Watch this.
They put uniforms on them, and they are basically telling them that you're in charge of checkpoints on the streets of the cities in Iran. Watch this. It's crazy, yeah, absolute insanity that this is allowed to happen. But again, this is also, apart from the fact that it shows desperation.
Look at it, kids like 12, if that.
As I've been saying for the past few weeks, it's not really a threat. Apart from the fact that obviously this is also child abuse, it's not really a new threat. The threat is actually coming from...
So Trump's doing the right thing by cutting off any transport to Iran, because they're making tons of money on their oil like that. So, yeah, and so they brought in a lot of people from Afghanistan and Iraq to try to police the people to keep them in power. Now, when that money dies, a lot of them will leave, and the Iranian people will be able to overthrow these Durkas.
The Arab proxies who've come from Iraq, and also those who've come from Afghanistan and Pakistan.
So he's saying the same thing.
It's mostly the Iraqis that you have to worry about, because those guys are professionally trained as terrorists. The ones from the Fatemiyun from Afghanistan and the Zainabiyun from Pakistan.
The ones from Afghanistan tend to be tribal, and they'll all come as a bunch, because there tend to be family, cousins, and stuff like that. Family and cousins and stuff like that. Close relation. They sleep with their cousins there and have more and more kids. It's crazy, insane actually. So it's a kind of a big group because they have a lot of kids, but they're all related, you know. And so if a bunch of them leave, it'll be all of them. And if they cut off the money, they won't be able to stay. They'll have to leave.
They are less of a threat. Obviously, they are armed. So if you approach them unarmed, then yeah.
I've talked to some people there, and they're showing that the money that they're giving them is Chinese money that they're paying them with. They're paying them with Chinese money, not much American money.
Yes, you're going to get killed. But if you have to fight against them,
okay?
They are even less professional than the Houthis. But the Iraqis, they are ruthless, and they've been trained for a very long time, and they have been causing a lot of chaos in Iraq, in the eastern parts of the country. So those guys are more of a threat than these kids. These kids, obviously, the whole future is now ruined because they've been completely abused and brainwashed by the IRGC and their families in order to do this. This is this classic Islamist tactic that's been used for decades and decades. They are now using them as human shields, and it's completely chaotic. There's also the problem with the civilian sites in Iran, because the war has not ended, and they know that there are two problems. One, if the negotiations, well, first the negotiations have to happen first, and they probably will happen. If the negotiations don't go well, then obviously at the end of the official ceasefire, missiles, if the Israelis or the Americans or anybody.
This green area over here, they're hiding missiles right next to schools. Let me go back 10 seconds here. There we go. That green thing under the tarp is some of the missiles they're hiding.
Now basically putting, there we go, the missile launcher on the left-hand side in the schoolyard. So obviously if the Israelis or the Americans or anybody decides to hit them, then they could basically cry and say, look, the enemy is once again targeting our schools and our children, even though the schools are closed and kids are not going to school. There are no kids there, but they continue to claim that civilians are getting hit. Now we're going to talk about Mossad as well before we continue the issue around. They're not just asking for reparations. 170 billion doing crazy nonsense. So as you guys know, the IRGC have become the new
part of the deal is they want reparations. You can go pee up a rope.
Black Lives Matter of the Middle East. Yep. Because they want reparations. They want reparations from the Americans and from the Israelis, even though they started the war first. They literally declared war on the whole of the West since 1979, and they continued to attack Israel and US citizens, but they are the victims, right? But they're not just asking for reparations, like BLM, from the Americans and the Israelis. They now have a new target. So, as you guys know, since the beginning of this conflict, the Israelis and the Americans hammered the Islamic Republic in Iran. The IRGC's reaction was, okay, so we're going to hit.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, they said they're going to hit the US bases in the Middle East. Instead of doing that, they started to launch missiles and rockets and drones at civilian areas at the neighboring countries. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Riyadh, many cities of the Arab countries near the Persian Gulf were hit civilian areas and their infrastructure. So not just the US bases, right? Having said that, somehow today, the Islamic Republic have come out to demand up to $270 billion in reparations, right? But they also now want reparations from the UAE, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, basically every country that they've hit. They hit them.
They want that to be all part of the ceasefire or end of the war reparations.
The IRGC hit the countries. Now they want money from those countries. It's interesting because the Arabs are not really asking for any reparations. They're coming from Iran. But the Islamic leadership, if we could even call it that, because there's not one single leadership in Iran anymore. You got different factions all calling a shot for themselves, have submitted.
I'm told there's 5 factions. They're squabbling over who's going to keep control. It's not going so well.
Submitted the letter to the United Nations Security Council naming Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, and Jordan, accusing them of enabling strikes. And because of
How does Jordan have anything to do with it?
that, they want reparations from these countries. What about reparations from you to these Arab countries? Because you hit their infrastructure, you hit their civilian areas. Forget about Israel, forget about the Americans. They can look after themselves. I think the Islamic Republic owes a lot of money to the UAE alone. The damage they caused there in Dubai alone, just one city, has been completely devastating. Now, the rest of the proxies also continue to, because Gaza, one, is a small area, two.
Oh, here we go. Iran tried to get a whole bunch of, Lebanon actually tried to get a whole bunch of Durka crazies into Israel. Try to go in and kill them. I should back this up a little. They're trying to come in with a garbage truck. They tried to sneak him in with a garbage truck.
Absolutely unbelievable.
There's people inside that garbage truck. Durkas. Jihadists.
Wait for it, wait for it.
Can't imagine it made him smell any better.
Imagine the smell.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Anyways, I thought that was interesting. Let me go open the other one I have about this. More updates on the them sneaking in here or killing. Let me go 30 seconds ahead here.
Of course, also the battles. Of course, also the battles happening on the streets. First things first, there are talks about.
So the Iranian people are starting to take these extremists out.
The potential a final round of negotiations between the United States and the Islamic Republic. We are hearing that it might happen later this week, but it's still more likely they will be early next week. Of course, this will be the final round. And the way it seems, the way it looks, because of the successful blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, the IRGC, who are running out of money, they are absolutely desperate. So they might actually give a massive concession and even give up most of their nuclear program. Of course, they could easily lie and they could come back to it a few years from now, but once President Trump leaves office. But they can still say that. Just to get a deal. But obviously this is not to save the regime. This will not save the regime. In fact, this will be the final nail in the coffin.
They also found, if I played that whole thing, in the back of that garbage truck, they also had a bunch of explosives and stuff. So they were going to plant explosives and all that kind of stuff.
If they sign this deal with the Americans, because the whole of the regime is completely divided and the Iranian people continue their fight back. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to, as I said, discuss the latest videos and updates we have from what happened last night and this morning in the capital, in Tehran, as the armed Iranian groups continue to take out the IRGC leaders and commanders. On the other side, the Israeli Defense Forces have also destroyed multiple Hezbollah positions. There are going to be more discussions between the state of Israel. Default be an extension. The live stream news updates will be on YouTube as usual, especially in Tehran. Since yesterday, we've had a number of attacks carried out by the anti-Islamic occupation. About the explosions, or on the app, click on discuss, and it will take you to the chat forum. And go on the voice channels, and I will give you guys the update after that.
Now, inside Iran, there's a resistance now that has formed, and it's starting to take out these extremists. I think he's going to talk about the ones that have been taken out, these extremist leaders.
All right, let's talk about the explosions in Iran, especially in Tehran. Since yesterday, we've had a number of attacks carried out by the anti-Islamic occupation Iranians. Now, in the district of, I think it's the district 10 of the city, we had 3 explosions. One of them was so strong that it actually shook the windows. The location of the main attack was on the Imam Khomeini street in the intersection between Imam Khomeini and Ceyhun in the western parts of the capital. Then obviously the fire crew, emergency services came, the police were on the scene. The IRGC Basij forces moved in quite late after they realized that they have lost some of their fellow terrorist members. Then they confirmed that a bombing had occurred. Now, there is a video we're going to show you as well from Iran. One of the IRGC guys who are basically, they're spreading propaganda. On the one hand, they want to create, they want to obviously let people know that there is a state of chaos, state of emergency. We got the enemy on the ground, as in the Iranian people. On the other hand, everything's absolutely fine. Nothing's happened. Well, we can now confirm on 2CTV that last night, the group of anti-IRGC Iranians who carried out a number of attacks successfully managed to assassinate Mohammad Shir Mohammadian, who was the leader of the Basij IRGC.
What's the odds his name was Mohammed?
Basij base in Tehran's District 18. We've seen a number of assassinations, a huge number of guerrilla warfare across the streets, not just in Tehran, but across Iran in general. Usually happens late at night when things are quiet and dark. And obviously those Iranians who are armed are continuing to target the Islamic occupation forces. So another IRGC Basij.
I'm starting to hear of hundreds and hundreds of it happen, 100 times, hundreds of times.
Commander has now been taken out in the capital. But as I said,
the people I'm talking to are telling me about them.
That there is this video I'm going to show you now from Tehran. One of the IRGC guys who were talking to the Islamic Republic state media, telling everybody everything is fine, but we do have traitors. Traitors are causing chaos. We can't really restore the internet. Everything is shut, but everything's absolutely fine. No casualties. Right. 2 car bombs reported in the site that I'm going to show you. And saying that this is the fault of the internal traitors, the Iranian people. Let's go and see what this idiot is ranting about.
بامداد چهارشنبه ساعت 1:15 26 فروردین خیابان امام خمینی هستیم. تردد روونه، شرایط الان در حال حاضر عادی هست و اینجا اتفاق عجیب غریبی نیفتاده. یه در واقع انفجار محدود در واقع در خیابان توسط عناصر خائن و وطن فروش در واقع که به حمدالله نه تلفات جانی نه خسارت حادی داشته. به حمدالله اوضاع تحت کنترل و عادی هست و مشکل خاصی نداره.
Everything is fine. So this is District 10 in the west where they had the explosions. Then District 18 was where the commander of the IRGC was killed. And he was actually stabbed multiple times, stabbed by the Iranian patriots. But the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps are terrified of the next phase of this conflict because if there is a deal between the US and the IRGC, that is not the end. That is just the beginning of the next phase, which will be what's going to happen.
The other thing is some of the factions are fighting with each other right now.
On the ground in Iran. If the Iranian people, the resistance groups, successfully manage to continue this operation against the Islamic Republic, then things are going to get completely escalated. And the reason that we are seeing the IRGC already preparing the streets of Iran, especially Tehran, is because they know that's the next phase. It's nothing to do with the Americans. The US could stop the strikes. They could even stop the blockade of Hormuz. That's irrelevant. It's what's going to happen next with the help of Mossad from Israel, who have also confirmed that they will continue their operation to help the Iranian people finish off the regime. That is the next phase. The Americans have already done their job, is to weaken the regime, destroy essentially the nuclear program, and the ballistic missiles have been massively minimized, and the Navy and the Air Force. They've also taken out the leadership of the regime. So they've already done their job anyway. But the IRGC have been importing a lot of Arab proxies from Iraq. They've also brought in people from terrorists from Afghanistan and Pakistan. Today, we have this confirmation that the runways of
None of the ones I'm talking to have told me anything about any Pakistanis there, but it wouldn't surprise me.
the Mehrabad airport in Tehran in the west are now being physically covered and blocked by IRGC vehicles, buses, and everything else. This is essentially, they are terrified of two things. One, if the Iranian people do come out en masse. Two, if somehow the negotiations don't go well, because it's still technically possible, even though
I agree, Tammy. That's the only way they want to conquer the world. But the biggest sponsor of promoting this, it's all been in Iran. They're getting people, training in them, sending them over to America, sending them over to Europe and stuff like that, and they're converting our young into this cult.
Likely we're going to have a deal. It's still likely it's going to kick off, which means the next phase for the US military will be a potential ground invasion, and this is what they've done to prevent it.
That's not happening. I think some of the training that Trump's doing and everything is trying to send them a message to do the deal. Then he can cut off their money, and then they'll be overthrown from within.
This is the fascinating part. So this is the Mehrabad airport to the west of the capital. You got the IRGC tents and bases, and
they're blocking the airport so people can't land there.
And then the runway, we can see, there we go. It's been blocked by the buses and the trucks and everything else that they have. There. Yeah, the guy in the video is saying you can see the buses. Obviously, the quality is not good, but the eyewitness is saying they are blocking the runway in the middle of it, so you can't land any plane, which is a very stupid thing to do, because it doesn't really stop anything. Even hypothetically, if we get to a point where there is not going to be any basic nuclear deal, but again, as I said, this potential deal is just about...
I wouldn't trust any deal you do with them anyways. Tell you the truth. Really, they need to go.
About the nuclear program, nothing to do with the ongoing war in Iran. Even if they signed a nuclear deal, it's still going to continue anyway. And the Iranian people, the Mossad, everybody will continue. If somehow there is not a nuclear deal and the Americans decide to take it to the next level and begin some sort of ground invasion, they're not going to land their planes in the middle of Mehrabad airport. That's not really how ground invasions work. What are they thinking? When you're just going to land, get the traffic control and the tower to basically confirm that, yes, of course, Americans, you can land. No, that's not how they do it. If they're going to invade, they're going to invade. But they're not even just worried about that. They're also worried about what else could happen from the Iranian side. Now, of course, the leader of the opposition and the resistance...
If you keep cutting off their money, they won't be able to import all these other ones. Most of them will go back home when they run out of money, and that'll be soon. And the Iranian people are going to overthrow them.
The Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi has been pretty busy this week, meeting with the world leaders in Europe. He's been traveling around, I think he's now in Italy, but he was also in Sweden and a couple of other places, and he's been also making a number of speeches on the issue of the final battle when that begins. Let's quickly go to the Crown Prince.
I would rather die standing than live kneeling, and so would I. Churchill understood.
For those who don't know, this is the son of the original prince that was pushed out by Carter, and let the Islamists and the socialists work together to push their regime out. And he told them to stand down and move out. Tell his dad to move out 47 years ago.
Such a people, when he said that nations do not die when their soldiers fall, they die only when their spirits surrenders. I am here to tell you, Iran's spirit has not surrendered, and it never will. Despite its brutality, the Islamic Republic is closer to collapse today than at any point since 1979. And one fact is now beyond dispute. The Iranian people will never accept a repackaged version of this regime. Too much blood has been spilled. Too many graves have been dug. The demand is not for a kinder jailer. The demand is for freedom. There is a military dimension to these events that this chamber is watching closely, and I will not pretend otherwise. But I say to you, however the military operation currently on pause turns, whether it accelerates the Islamic Republic's fall or merely deepens the fractures within it, the outcome of Iran's revolution will not be determined by any force from the outside. It will be determined by the Iranian people themselves. The Lion and Sun Revolution, the uprising that the people of Iran ignited in January with their own blood and their own courage, cannot be extinguished by any regime calculation, any diplomatic maneuver, or any military result. The people started it, and the people will finish it. If the military operation pushes the Islamic Republic into the historical abyss where it belongs, we will be there, ready, organized, and determined to build what comes after. And if the regime survives the immediate storm, we will continue the revolution until it is complete. We began this journey, we will see it to its end. History has...
For those that don't know, the game plan with the Iranian people, and they've got other people they've put in position, is for them to take over temporarily until they can set up a government and run elections. That doesn't mean he's going to be anointed president or this or that. He's just going to run the transition to a new government, and they'll have elections and stuff like that. It won't have the Islamic control bullcrap anymore.
Has given us no other...
In fact, people there want to ban Islam from their country.
...choice.
And that is a key point. As he's been consistent and the Iranian people have been consistent, regime change and the fall of the regime cannot happen using foreign forces, any foreign country. It has to be done by the Iranian people at the end of the day on the ground. And obviously the US, right now we just got the update that the Pakistani's army chief has now arrived in Tehran to prepare the mediation for the next...
I would still keep them to the unconditional surrender. They got to totally surrender everything.
round or the final round of talks.
Tell them to get the hell out too.
Which again could happen end of this week or early next week between the US and the Islamic Republic.
If they keep them from getting money, then they can't support their regime anymore.
Of course, those talks, as I said, they're not about...
And they stay in power by the gun.
The regime, they are about the nuclear program of Iran. Whether they sign a deal or not, that's irrelevant. Even obviously the US military action should eventually end. They can't continue that. They can't just continue the airstrikes. That's not going to do anything anymore. They've already done their job.
They haven't been doing those for about eight or 9 days.
They've already weakened the regime. And President Trump was indicating earlier that the war in Iran is over. Obviously, that's...
All the deaths lately has been bombs on the ground, their own people bombing them and shooting them.
Just Trump language. You have to take it seriously, but not literally.
Although I forgot to say that their executions have been they're going up. They're trying to rush them all through before any ceasefire, because part of the ceasefire is they're not supposed to be executing people.
That simply means that he's indicating that we are getting close to a deal. So the US military action in Iran could come to an end soon. And
the only way to keep them from having a nuclear weapon is having a different government. Anyone that comes in, they're going to lie and try to make weapons, to kill us. Most of their money, instead of going to aqueducts and this, they got a water shortage really bad. They neglected, for the last almost 50 years, they neglected this water thing that they've got where it transports water from the north to the south. And they haven't done anything with it. They've been busy trying to kill us.
And also there's been discussions with China, which I'll discuss in a second. Having said that, they still have all options on the table. Whether there is a deal or not, whether the US military action stops or not, the war in Iran continues. And actually, it gets to the next phase, which is obviously the Iranian people who are currently fighting on the streets against the Islamic occupation. They can take it to the next level. Right now, they can't fully do it because there's still uncertainty. They don't know exactly what's going to happen. And they obviously have a lot of proxies on the streets. But CENTCOM, the US Central Command, and the US military are still on standby. They still have to have various scenarios prepared. So we now can confirm, we have received this update from Central Command, that the US ground troops continue to do drills just in case. So the US Marines...
Yeah, they're not going in. It's really to use that as a scare tactic. Let me try to get to the next section, I think. Let me see. Oh, here it is. This is what they were teaching kids over there.
Have this from Hezbollah, their propaganda machine, asking children in southern Lebanon what they want to be when they grow up. You've seen this sort of stuff from the so-called Palestinians in Gaza, in the Judea and Samaria areas, but they're also Pakistan. In Pakistan, we've had their kids being interviewed saying, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to destroy India. So they do that. And now we have this from Hezbollah children. Weird stuff. Watch this. Destroy tanks. Sniper. Yeah. Okay. I want to plant mines. I want to lead attacks. I want to destroy tanks. Shoot down planes. I want to be a doctor. That's good. I want to be a cook. That's good. I want to be a female doctor. And I want to lead the Mujahideen. Oh, that was close. I had hopes at the end. I had hopes and dreams. It went from, I want to join the resistance, destroy tanks. I want to be a sniper. I want to stomp in the faces of the Israelis, plant mines. And then they went to, I want to be a doctor. That's good. I want to be a cook. Fair. And then this one, she said, I want to be a female doctor. And I want to lead the Mujahideen. So close.
And killers and all that. All right, I'm going to jump on a couple other little clips. Here we go.
April 5th, 2016. This is an idyllic Southern California spring day. As I am walking out to take the kitchen garbage out, I turn around the corner and pass a big white windowless van. All of a sudden the door swings open and this tall uniformed guy steps out and he has a piece of paper in his hands and he says, "Are you David Daleiden?" And he says, "I'm with the California Department of Justice. We have a search warrant for your home." And he hands me the warrant. And I think to myself, oh gosh, you know, what's going to happen next? So about 5 or 6 California DOJ agents started stomping through my apartment. The other 5 of them standing on the lawn outside. Some of them were armed with AR-15s. Some of them had canine dogs with them. They had come for me. In 2013, I began and orchestrated an almost 3-year-long, very in-depth, comprehensive investigative journalism study about the harvesting and trafficking of body parts from late-term abortions. There's multiple violations and multiple issues that you very quickly start to learn about when you look into it. There's the basic problem of selling body parts, where you're basically creating a system, creating transactions, creating business relationships that incentivize the objectification and the destruction of human beings in order to keep the business going. So for about 30 months, we went undercover with the explicit purpose of partnering with some of the biggest Planned Parenthood abortion clinics in the country to send their technicians in, harvest body parts from the abortions that were being done that day, then package up the parts and ship them off to different customers all around the country, sometimes around the world. In July of 2015, we began to release the
I wanted to be a shop teacher.
undercover video series. I had been hoping that this was something that would, that would maybe generate 100,000 views or something. Instead, what happened was even bigger than I could have imagined. Within less than a week, we had close to 3 million views on YouTube of the first video, and multiple congressional committees announcing that they were launching federal investigations of Planned Parenthood's involvement in fetal trafficking and fetal
There's too much big money in it. That's why they keep doing it.
experimentation. The truth got out there, and the words of Planned
And the thing is, our tax dollars are going toward this. We're paying for it.
Planned Parenthood's own leadership describing their organization's participation in these activities went viral and was being publicized for the whole world to see. Looking back on it from the information that we know now, I now know what was going on was that Kamala Harris, at the explicit instruction of Planned Parenthood, had targeted me and me alone among all undercover video news gatherers in the state of California to enforce the California video recording law against me and to punish me for speaking the truth about her powerful campaign donors at Planned Parenthood. What we've come to...
Leaking gas, make sure anything don't catch on fire. $20 worth of gas on the ground. It's coming down, actually, the gas. It's already come down about 9 cents where I am, but we'll see. It's come down on the market some. It's going to come down more. Wow, you better clean up that gas. Don't have any fires there.
To learn in the years since, just 2 weeks before serving the search warrant on my home,
Can you fix it?
Kamala Harris had a secret meeting in Los Angeles with several top-level executives of Planned Parenthood in California. We then found out from the California DOJ investigator reports that Planned Parenthood's top lawyer in California had specifically instructed the California DOJ agents that Planned Parenthood wanted the video equipment and the computers that I was using to publish the videos to be seized, in order to shut me up, in order to prevent me from continuing to publish the truth about Planned Parenthood's involvement in fetal trafficking, and in order to punish me for speaking out with a message that was disfavored by Planned Parenthood and by Kamala Harris in the state of California. I think what people have to understand about organizations like Planned Parenthood and about their political backers like Kamala Harris is that they're shameless. And they will do whatever they have to do in order to promote their agenda. They'll say whatever they have to say, and they are not afraid to use every bit of power at their disposal to force their agenda through. Kamala Harris is the single greatest threat to First Amendment civil liberties that our country has ever seen.
And she's hinting that she's going to run for president.
Kamala Harris is elected to be a heartbeat away from the highest office in the United States of America. You will have someone in the White House who has a radical contempt and disrespect for First Amendment civil liberties, someone who believes that she's entitled to use the powers of her office in order to punish the viewpoints of citizens who disagree with her.
Yep. And it's a lot of money behind that, and a lot of Democrats get a lot of money from that.
Keeping an eye on Armstrong County now, where over a dozen people were arrested after ICE was called to a DMV Friday. KDKA's Ricky Sayer went to that location and spoke to witnesses to get
Everyone see this? That was cool.
A better picture of what happened.
In total, the Department of Homeland Security says ICE arrested 13 people, referring to them as illegal aliens. They also say that one of them resisted arrest and assaulted a local officer. Long lines inside and a packed parking lot with multiple tractor trailers caught the attention Friday of people living near this DMV.
I tried to call ICE about that morning when I noticed all the foreigners in there, and nobody was speaking English.
Well, Gary Klingensmith didn't get through to ICE. DHS says the East Franklin Police Department did. DHS says concerned citizens had reported to local police an abnormally large amount of individuals outside the driver's license center.
I just know it's odd.
He says people were packed inside tractor-trailer cabs.
Like when they opened the door, like 10 people came out.
Ryan Moore saw it differently.
But there wasn't any kind of suspicious activity going on. You know, they were standing at the door with papers in their hands.
She was there when ICE arrived.
I saw some ICE agents taking down a whole bunch of people.
ICE says 13 were arrested from Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan.
What part of it doesn't she understand that they're here illegally?
I mean, there were people running through our yard, all these yards, running this way. They were handcuffing someone on the corner, handcuffing someone over here.
A big question has been why they were all at the DMV.
They did a renewal for their CDL, and I believe they had to do it in person.
Sally Simpson is a legal observer with the ICE Rapid Response Group Frontline Dignity. They put out a statement saying, quote, an alleged website error is directing people to the West Katanning DMV for in-person commercial driver's license renewal, but the service is not available there. We did find a sign saying DOT CDL exams are offered at the building, but by the chiropractor's office, not the DMV.
Chiropractor?
I think that it's disgusting that people need to be afraid by the color.
She needs some help. Probably thinks she's a man.
Or their skin just to go and get their whatever they want to do throughout the day done.
Well, that's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. If I don't
think
anybody that comes into the country legally, I don't care what their nationality is, should be thrown out. But if you come in illegally, which most of them must have been because half of them took off, it shouldn't happen.
The Department of Homeland Security says the incident remains under investigation. Ricky Sayer, KDK TV News.
Deport them all. Deport them all. All right, I'm going to end with this one because we're getting close to 7. 7 my time. All right, there's a lady in California, 126 years old, and older people there still voting. Here we go.
How many people do you know that are over 126 years old? Well, according to the state of California, there are multiple people that are 126 years old who are still registered to vote, and they voted in the last presidential election. On this list right here, this person, 3/28/1900, voted in the last election. Is this person still alive? I don't know, but according to this list, this person voted in the last presidential election. And this is why we need identification when we go to vote. If this woman had her ID when she went to vote, yeah, we'd be able to see that this person is 126 years old and is voting. But most likely, these people are not alive, but they're still voting. If we had our ID when we went to vote, we'd actually be able to see who was voting. We'd actually be able to know if this person is voting was actually born in the 1900s. Most likely, all these people are dead, but they're still voting. We need voter ID so we can actually know who is voting here in America. It's that simple. Show your identification card. We'll be able to match up your birth date to the person who's voting, and we'll be able to clean up our voter rolls. We need voter ID here in America to actually save our voting systems.
It's going to take we the people to stop it.
And to have accurate elections.
Okay, everyone, I should be on 5 p.m. tomorrow. That's the game plan anyways, all right? God bless. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.